Hello and welcome to Ogtv Main News. My name is Bukola Agbakeso. On the news, President Buhari inaugurates landmark projects in Kaduna State. Nigeria's Governors Forum presses Senate over Electoral Bill re-amendment. Nigeria, US sign pact to reduce illicit trafficking of ancient arts. Church stampede kills 29 in Liberia. Mistakes are a fact of life. It is the response to the error that counts.
Federal government to establish 18 modular refineries in oil-producing states. Details of business stories when I return. My name is Ademola. Stay with us.
And from the world of sport, FIFA to limit international loans as part of transfer reform. This and many more when I return. I'm Emmanuel Dasaudo. Stay with us.
Now the news in full. President Muhammadu Buhari has commenced a two-day official visit to Kaduna State with the inauguration of landmark projects executed by the state government under its urban renewal program. Among projects commissioned by the president was the multi-billion naira Kawo overhead bridge. For the president, the visit was like a homecoming, but would be taken aback with the level of transformation of the Kaduna metropolis by Governor Nasiru El-Rufai's administration. While inaugurating a number of projects in Kaduna and Kafachan towns, President Buhari saluted the government of Kaduna State for the infrastructure revolution. He said government has provided enabling environment for rapid socio-economic development, hence the need for foreign and domestic investors to take advantage.
We have committed ourselves to changing Kaduna, and we have been very successful, and people throughout the country are appreciated. So we are writing history in letters of gold. I congratulate you for your achievements so far.
Governor Nasiru El-Rufai said his administration is desirous of transforming Kaduna State for future economic development. He said the needed infrastructure for capital flow has been put in place. Governor El-Rufai called on citizens to support President Buhari in his quest to develop the country. Back home now, a community-based newspaper in Ogun State, Gateway News Update, has honored the governor of Ogun State, Prince Dapo Abeokuta, with an award as Best Governor of Continuity and Consistency since the creation of the state. Mr. Tunde Omolaolu, who is the publisher of the community newspaper, said the award is necessary as the giant strides embarked upon by the government since it was sworn in are unprecedented.
His Excellency President Abeokuta actually days all of us in Gateway News Update, sir. You know, for being the first governor since the creation of Ogun State to truly embrace the principle of continuity and consistency in his government. Sir, it is audible to the deaf, tangible to the paralytic, and even visible to the blind. Embarked on the projects left uncompleted, and some of them have been completed, while some are still ongoing. You see, this is unprecedented in the history of Ogun State, and Gateway News Update, in our policy, we do monitor. You see, his deliberate and methodical style of governance too are also commendable, sir. And this is also first of its kind in the history of this state. You know, some people say that it's a silent achiever, and we believe it. It's achieving, you know, not making noise.
Receiving the award on behalf of the Governor, Commissioner for Information and Strategy in Ogun State, Alhaji Waheed Odushile, thanked the management and staff of Gateway News Update for the honor and promised to always support community-based newspaper in the state.
And part of the appreciation is this award, and of course, I also need to emphasize that we have been receiving so many awards like this, and none was solicited. So it's a sign that the people actually monitor. And when the media, one of the roles of the media is also hold the government accountable and to monitor governance. And it's a good thing that Gateway News Update is also doing that, to monitor governance in Ogun State. And we have found us worthy, especially Governor His Excellency President Abeokuta of this award. We thank you, and of course, whatever we are doing at the information team here, if not for the support of the governor, we will not be able to do it. So we also thank you for the opportunity we are given to the ministry, but then
Alhaji Waid Odushile also received an award from the same Gateway newspaper update as Best Commissioner in Ogun State. In order to make turning points in the various vocations, artisans in Ogun State have been advised to be open to new innovations to improve on the trade. The State Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Development, Mrs. Fumilayo Efwakbe, represented by the Director of Planning, Research and Statistics, Mr. Kayode Akinola, gave the advice at the Financial and Vocational Empowerment Program organized by the Ministry of Women and Social Development in collaboration with the Ark of Hope Foundation, United Kingdom. Taiwo Adebi was at the venue of the program, Women Development Center, Ogun State, and our reporters presented in this package.
Self-employment goes a long way in making an individual independent. It is for this reason that Ogun State Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development, in collaboration with Ark of Hope Foundation, gave out sewing machines and financial assistance to fashion designers in the state. Representing the State Commissioner in the ministry, Mrs. Fumi Efwakbe, the Director of Planning, Research and Statistics, Mr. Kayode Akinola, advised beneficiaries to make judicious use of the machines and the funds.
And the essence of the investment is to build their capacity so that they can be self-reliant, and they can also contribute their own impact to the development of the economy of the state and by extension Nigeria. We want to implore the beneficiary not to sell these empowerment tools.
The Director, Ark of Hope Foundation, stated that the foundation is targeted at empowering children and women to assist them achieve economic growth.
They've got the tools now for their trade, so they can take care of their home, their children, and support their husband as well. We don't have to wait for our husband to do everything for us. We can do it ourselves. We're there to support them.
The Director of Women Empowerment Service in the ministry, Mrs. Wonu Olakazin, expressed appreciation to all for being supportive.
Government alone cannot do this thing. It is not possible for government. So there is what we call public-private partnership, and this is it.
Some of the beneficiaries expressed their appreciation.
I want to buy the machine, but I don't have much money to buy the machine. But I'm very happy to be one of the beneficiaries here. So may the Almighty Allah help them and empower them more.
At least we'll be able to feed ourselves. Okay. Not waiting for anybody feeding us. I pray that God will continue to bless our Commissioner, Director, and the other staff.
Goodwill messages were also made at the event.
Through adequate penetration of the grassroots in rural communities, Ogun State is being put on a fast lane and steady path of achieving the goals of zero open defecation by 2025. Program Manager of Ogun State Rural Water Supply and Sanitation Agency, Mr. Shola Ogumbo, made this known while speaking at the end of the advocacy program. Officers of Water and Environmental Sanitation Department in the 20 local government areas of the state to rural communities. Matthew Shomi completes the report.
As a people-oriented administration which pays high premium on the well-being of its population and overall public health, the determination to achieve the 2025 goal of zero open defecation continues to be the driving force of the Ogun State government.
Ogun State government has supported the agency by releasing funds to build capacity of the West officers in all the 20 LGAs. They are the department, our staff department at the LGA that will be supporting us to drive all this community into open defecation-free status. The Kenya local government to start with.
Towards meeting the set targets and seamless implementation of any community-oriented program, those to be saddled with the responsibility must be well equipped and armed with the practical knowledge which can only be acquired through engagement with the communities. The visit of the officers of Water and Environmental Sanitation Department from the 20 local governments of Ogun State to rural communities is to serve as a practical session of the capacity building and to demonstrate how community should be triggered on the need to stop open defecation.
We have a target declared by the federal government as 2025. That's the SCG target. We are in 2022. We have 3 years down to go. We're hoping that once we're able to win win a local government, of course it has ripples effect on other. That's what it means. I'm sure we'll get the support of His Excellency to have a bylaw at the National Assembly to be able to give sanction to those who are not. But to start with, let us see 1, 2, 3 local government being declared as open defecation free.
At Igbalesun, Araromi village in Obafe area of Obafe Miwode local government, the rural dwellers were taken through a practical session on the importance of sanitation and proper use of toilets, while the people of Odo Ijesha village in Obafe Miwode local government also had the opportunity of being guided on how to build toilets to serve the need of the community. The people of the communities welcomed the environmental officers and appreciated the government for coming to the aid of the community by improving the sanitation among the people. Matthew Showme, Ogtv News.
Still ahead in the news, House of Reps passes electoral bill without compulsory direct primary clause. We'll bring you the details after this time out. Don't go away. You're still watching Ogtv Main News, and thanks so much for joining us in part 2 of the news. Ogun State House of Assembly has charged heads of security agencies in the state to call their men to order to curb extrajudicial killings. The Speaker, Olakunle Oluomo, gave the charge while responding to the remarks of a member representing Yewa North 1 State constituency, Honorable Adegoke Adeoju, on the personal explanation at the resumption of plenary after the New Year recess by the lawmakers. Correspondent Kola Wodliosho was there. Details of his report are presented in this package.
The Speaker, Right Honorable Olakunle Oluomo, while reacting to the submission of a member representing Yewa North 1 State constituency, Honorable Adegoke Adeoju, under personal explanations, condemned the gruesome killings of law-abiding and innocent residents of the state by men of the Nigerian Customs Service, especially in the border communities, under the guise of curbing smuggling of rice into the country. Oluomo lamented a situation where the security agents would mount multiple checkpoints on the roads along the nation's borders, yet they would still allow smugglers into the towns, only to start pursuing them in high-density areas, shooting sporadically, thereby recording casualties.
I'll just appeal to our security agents to not allow themselves to be overwhelmed in the situation we find ourselves. Attention should not be on rise. It should be about security of life and property.
Earlier in his presentation, Adeoju had lamented the recent alleged killing of a 2-year-old infant at Ilaru by men of the Nigeria Customs who are pursuing smugglers, as well as the kidnap and gruesome murder of the 37-year-old son of Baale Afami village, Imashai, Falana Ogbenga, at Imashai, after the kidnappers had demanded ransom which was being arranged by the family. The lawmaker lamented that the security personnel were busy tracking rice to the detriment of the security of lives and property of the citizens. In another development, the Assembly has mourned a former head of interim national government, Chief Ernest Shonekon, who died on January 11, 2022 in Lagos at age 85, describing him as a nationalist whose entire lifetime reflected true service with special regards to the unity, peace, growth, and development of Nigeria. The lawmakers also commiserated with the people of Adeokuta local government and the state on the demise of the Olofin of Adeokuta, Oba Abdulateef Adeniran, who joined his ancestors on January 7, 2022. The speaker, however, led other lawmakers to observe a 1-minute silence in honor of the Doe in response to the submissions of a lawmaker representing Abeokuta South 1 State Constituency, Honorable Yusuf Adejojo, and his Adeokuta 2 counterpart, Honorable Musefiu Lamidi, under personal explanation. Also, Speaker Oluomo has assured residents of the state that the 9th Assembly under his leadership would improve on the achievements recorded in the previous year, saying that more democratic dividends to the people were underway, as all legislative mechanisms will be deployed for accelerated development in all areas of the state economy.
And we want to appreciate the governor for the support for the House in the last year and to further seek his support this particular year so that distinguished colleagues can really appear to under the budget of restoration to restore our honor, our dignity, and our honorability.
The Speaker, however, encouraged his colleague lawmakers, management, and staffers of the State Assembly to redouble their efforts through dedication, commitment, and improved service delivery in their respective capacities towards sustaining excellence in the legislative arm of government.
And coming from Abuja, the Nigeria Governors Forum has praised the Senate for the recent electoral bill re-amendment at a meeting in Abuja. The NGF chairman and governor of Ekiti State, Kayode Fayemi, who spoke during the forum's meeting, urged the House of Representatives to do the same to the clause in the electoral bill. He said on the Electoral Act, governors commended the Senate for accelerating the removal of the contentious clause in the draft electoral bill. Fayemi also stated that the forum also engaged issues surrounding the petroleum subsidy, COVID-19, nutrition, national security, and ease of doing business. He noted that the governors intend to intervene on all of these issues with all stakeholders in order to achieve positive outcomes. In the meantime, the House of Representatives has passed the Electoral Act Amendment Bill on Thursday. However, the lawmakers revised the compulsory direct primary clause. The bill was passed after the removal of Clause 84, requiring political parties to only select candidates through direct primaries. The Senate on Wednesday included the consensus made of primary in the Electoral Act Amendment Bill as suggested by President Muhammadu Buhari. Both chambers of the National Assembly, the Senate and the House of Representatives, however, deleted compulsory direct primaries from the bill, while the House gave options of parties adopting direct or indirect primaries. The Senate included direct and indirect primaries as well as the consensus mode as suggested by the President. The House of Representatives has said it will investigate alleged missing firearms and ammunition belonging to the Nigeria Police Force in excess of 178,000 since 2019. This is sequel to the report of the Auditor General to the Public Account Committee of the House. The report suggests that the arms and ammunition which the police claim to have purchased cannot be accounted for. The matter was raised by the Deputy Minority Leader of the House on Thursday as a motion of urgent public importance owing to the state of insecurity in the country. The federal government and the United States have signed the Cultural Property Implementation Act (CPIA) agreement According to the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, the CPIA will reduce the pillage of Nigeria's ancient arts, which are mostly smuggled to Europe, the US and other places for the benefit of art collectors. He said the signing of the MOU became necessary because despite all efforts by the Ministry of Information and Culture and the National Commission for Museums and Monuments, with the assistance of law enforcement agencies to prevent illicit export of the nation's archaeological materials, widespread looting and illicit excavation of these materials still continue. He said this when he signed a memorandum of understanding on the CPIA with the U.S. ambassador to Nigeria, Mary Beth Leonard, in the presence of the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Geoffrey Onyema, in Abuja. The minister said on the basis of the agreement, Nigerian antiquities being imported into the U.S. without the requisite export permit will be seized at the border of the U.S. and returned to Nigeria without the arduous and costly task of going through the labyrinth of judicial and diplomatic process. The Federal Road Safety Corps impounded no fewer than 11,060 vehicles and booked 20,845 motorists for various traffic violations during its Operation Zero Tolerance Special Patrol, which commenced on December 15, 2021 and ended on January 15, 2022. During the period, the Corps also recorded 600 crashes involving 4,649 persons, which claimed 327 lives. Providing an update on the special operation at a briefing in Abuja on Thursday, the Corps Marshal Boboye Oyeyemi attributed the crashes to speed violation, driving under influence of drugs and alcohol, continuous night journey leading to fatigue, dangerous driving, wrongful overtaking, worn out and expired tires, and overloading. He stated that within the period under review, a total of 600 road traffic crashes were recorded involving 4,649 people, with 327 people killed and 1,916 injured, while 2,406 people were rescued without injuries.
The alarm about the issue of speed since the beginning of the year, and that this year we are determined to tackle this. And most of these crashes we mentioned now involves more private vehicles. On the issue of this speed, we are taking it very seriously. If you remember at the beginning of the end of the year patrol operations, we raised alarm and there are specific directives that the issue of speed limiting devices will not be compromised. And we have given very strict directives to the patrol teams. All commercial vehicles must fully have the speed limiting device installed in the vehicles.
Oyeyemi disclosed that the Corps would enforce the installation of speed limiting devices by commercial buses this year, in line with the presidential directive. Across the nation, the Nigerian military has rescued 27 kidnapped victims in the last 2 weeks. The acting director, Defense Media Operation, announced this at a periodic news conference in Abuja. Military operations across the country for the past 2 weeks compiled and timed to brief the media. It's another harvest and success for troops as over 800 terrorists and their families surrendered and 37 unrepented terrorists eliminated in the northeast.
Part of the air component foiled terrorist attempted infiltration in Butown in Borno State. During the encounter, troops neutralized scores of the terrorists, captured their gun trucks and other weapons.
39 illegal refining sites recovered and destroyed in the Niger Delta by troops of Operation Delta Save.
In the fight against illegal oil production and other sundry crimes through kinetic and non-kinetic means in the South-South zone.
The armed forces also upscaled non-kinetic operations across the country to record more success. Traits and characteristics portrayed by Barrister Ademola Badejo are examples of the kind of omoluabi that has been preached, emphasized and promoted in Ogun State, as he is a liberal-minded individual. This was made known by the State Governor, Prince Dapo Abiodun, among several other encomiums showered on the veteran journalist during a 3-in-1 celebration of 33 years of marriage, 10 years of retirement, and autobiography launch. Margaret Okunlola reported that the event was flocked by eminent personalities in the state, including past governors of the state. A report.
Achievements are like hitting a diamond, as lots of pomp and pageantry is usually laid out to celebrate these occasions whenever they come. This was the case which prompted veteran journalist and retired civil servant in the state, Barrister Ademola Badejo, to roll out drums to celebrate 33 years of marriage and 10 years of retirement, which hosted the governor of Ogun State, Prince Dapo Abiodun, who was represented by the State Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Alhaji Abdulwahid Odushile, who described the celebrants as liberal-minded and a strong catalyst in the state.
I see him as an example of the kind of omoluabi that will preach, that will promote in Ogun State, and will enjoin people to take a leave from what he has done and also contribute to the development of Ogun State in their own way.
Delivering the keynote address titled Civil Servants and Politicians in Government, Marriage of Convenience, How Does the Society Benefit? A former Commissioner for Information and Strategy in the state, Dr. Niro Malaolu, expressed the importance of transparency and governance with public's interests at heart.
If our society is going to rise beyond the storage state it is today, civil servants will be prepared to act in the best possible way. It must be ready to look at the demagogue in the eye without blinking.
The event registered a large turnout of dignitaries, legal practitioners, monarchs, veteran journalists, business moguls, top civil servants and well-wishers from all spheres of life, which is a pointer to the fact that though he left office 10 years ago, he still remains relevant and enjoys tremendous support from all as they showered him with encomiums.
When I was leaving office, it never crossed my mind to document anything of his own volition. He made a proposal, and I didn't know what the format of what he was proposing, to do a documentary on my projects and performance in office and produce this booklet. He was the editor of this brochure.
I see in him the quintessential civil servant. Because I don't know how somebody can be the darling of the military, the darling of Chief Oshova. As a matter of fact, I was asking him yesterday, I said, look, Chief Oshova has just gone into one book launch. Are you sure he's going to be there? He said, no, he's going to be the chairman. I said, because if he's there, why do you need me? He said, no. 2 different roles. You'll be the chairman, you must come. So, I am here. I think Ademola has capacity to survive under whatever circumstances.
The celebrant, Barrister Ademola Badejo, said God has been faithful to him.
I have enjoyed tremendous mercy from the Almighty God. I wouldn't have wished for anything better than this. I have had a settled home, a wonderful wife, and all these achievements couldn't have been recorded if our support was not there.
To add a touch of spice to the occasion, the veteran journalist, Barrister Ademola Badejo, launched a book, 30 Roses, One Road, which chronicled his life and times. Margaret Okunlola, Ogtv News.
Up next is business news.
Welcome to the business segment of the news. The federal government is planning to partner Egypt in the areas of technical support in the transmission and distribution of electricity in Nigeria. The Minister of Power, Abubakar Aliyu, said this during a meeting with the Egyptian ambassador to Nigeria, Ihad Awad, at the headquarters of the Federal Ministry of Power in Abuja. Aliyu, in a statement issued by the Power Ministry, stated that the partnership would boost development needs of both countries by improving electricity supply, including renewable energy in Nigeria and Egypt. Others include smart grid and the promotion of renewable energy system in the electricity sector, both on-grid and off-grid. The minister told his guest that the federal government is committed to ensuring that Nigerians received efficient power supply. The total volume of crude oil and condensate that Nigeria produced last year was 17.67 billion barrels. This disclosure in the Crude Oil and Condensate Production 2021 report of the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission NUPRC Abuja. The report said the total volume was oil produced from crude oil, blended condensate and unblended condensate in the year under review. In January, the report disclosed that production was 1,711,047 barrels, while in February it was 1,760,934 barrels, and in March it was 1,748,474 barrels. The data noted that in April, Nigeria produced 1,687,044 barrels. In May, 1,659,293 barrels and 1,639,403 in June. The federal government said it was working to establish 3 modular refineries in each of the oil-producing states, particularly in Niger Delta region. Going by the plan, the government will have to establish about 18 refineries in the country's 6 major oil-producing states in Niger Delta, including Rivers, Bayelsa, Akwa Ibom, Delta, Edo, and Cross River. She said the objectives was to halt the illegal artisanal refinery activities going on in oil-producing areas and its impact on residents in the affected locations. The Minister of State for Environment, Chief Sharon Ekeazo, disclosed this in a statement issued by our ministry in Abuja. She said in a bid to find alternative sources of livelihood for artisanal refiners and to encourage them to disengage completely from their illegal activities, the Federal Ministry of Environment, in collaboration with the Office of the Senior Special Advisor to the President on Niger Delta Affairs and other critical stakeholders, are working on establishment of 3 modular refineries per state in the oil-producing areas as a pilot scheme to engage them. These modular refineries are intended to be 100% designed and manufactured in Nigeria using the expertise of government institutions such as the Ministry of Petroleum Resources, Federal University of Petroleum Eforon, and Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, among others. There is currently a surge in the demand of liquefied petroleum gas, popularly called cooking gas, leading to marginal price hike following the recent decision of the Nigeria Liquefied Natural Gas Company to channel all its LPG into the domestic market. On January 13, 2022, the Board of Directors of NLNG Limited approved the supply of 100% of the company's LPG production to the Nigerian market. Also, the Minister of State for the Environment, Chief Sharon Ekeazo, stated that the initiative would bring relief to Nigeria's forest by curtailing the use of firewood and charcoal. Speaking on the impact of the NLNG announcement on the sales of cooking gas, marketers of LPG told our correspondent on Wednesday that the move had triggered a surge in demand, which warranted a slight hike in price. This came as the gas-producing firm explained that its core production was liquefied natural gas and that LPG was only a byproduct of LNG, stressing that all its cooking gas was now sold in Nigeria. A flood of open market orders by foreign investors roused Nigerian equities to their second consecutive bullish trading session, with net capital gains of 417 billion naira in 6-hour trading session. Benchmark index for the Nigerian stock market crossed the 45,000 point threshold after foreign investors opened up orders and offered premium prices to attract deals on many large cap stocks, especially in the telecommunications sector. The All-Share Index, ASI, the value-based common index that tracks all share prices at the Nigerian exchange, NGX, crossed another threshold to close at 45,430.14 points as against its opening index of 44,655.89 points. This impelled average return of 1.7%, equivalent to net capital gain of 417 billion naira. The ASI doubles as Nigeria's sovereign equities index, and it is widely regarded as a measure of Nigerian stock market and the economy generally. Aggregate market value of all quoted equities at the NGX rose from its opening value of 24.060 trillion naira to close at 24.477 trillion naira, representing an increase of 1.7% or 417 billion. And that was business news. Back to Bukola for the rest of our news.
Thanks so much, Bola. Now foreign news. A stampede at a church gathering in Liberia capital Monrovia killed 29 people and left some in a critical list. The incident occurred during an all-night Christian worship event at Nucru Town. Precious Chuku has the story and others on the world today.